Hey guys, it's me again, Michael with the Tennessee Survivalist. As some of you may know, last week I had the privilege of having a 3-day, 2-night camp out teaching survival skills, primarily outdoor type skills within the group I'm associated with. And one of the things that between having the training session that we had and talking to others on the internet that seemed to kind of intrigue people is my mentality behind my bug out bag. First, let me say that what you're about to see here in a minute has nothing directly to do with my bug out bag, but you'll understand more as I explain. The simple need for an everyday carry, or a get home bag as some people call it, to me this would be my bare bones kit. I do have an everyday carry bag or a get home bag or whatever you want to call it, and what goes in it is specific to my personal needs, my personal skills. Therefore it may not be right for everyone, but it'll give you a good idea of how compact, how lightweight, and how well-rounded an everyday carry kit can be. First, for those of you that don't know, let me tell you a little bit about my daily life. I do work from home. I'm not going and punching a time clock from 9 to 5 every day. That does make a difference. I'm also not traveling far from my home on any given day. That also makes a difference. No matter who you are, you can't use a list or what I like to call a cookie cutter bug out bag or everyday carry pack, because it will not necessarily suit you. This works well for me because at any given time on my regular work day, I'm fairly close to home. If I'm not, if I'm going very far out of town, my bug out bag will probably go in my vehicle with me. Not always, it just depends on the situation. But what I want to do is give you a quick rundown on a very, very basic kit. And what this would allow you to do, this is my everyday carry bag, but it also goes along with my bug out bag. And what I mean by that is I look at things more modular. At the very minimum, I've always got the supplies I'm about to show you with me. So at the very minimum, I've got what I feel like I need to be able to get back to my home where I can get the rest of my family and my bug out gear. If I'm on foot, then I've got the small pack I'm about to describe combined with my main pack, and possibly even more tactical gear thrown in a duffel bag. If conveyance is capable, if I can get out of my vehicle, I've got way more gear than this. But truthfully, with the right skills and the right training, the things I'm about to show you are actually more than you would really need to get through a short term. I don't care if it's in the woods or if it's in an urban environment. As long as you have the training and the knowledge and the open mind and the true survival mindset of never giving up, never quitting, never saying this is enough, this kit will get you by. If I absolutely had to in a bug out situation, I could resort to this kit to get to a supplied bug out location without any problems at all. It may suck. It may not be a comfortable life. It may not be a lot of fun. But let's face it, guys, when the shit hits the fan, it ain't gonna be fun. If you think a true survival situation is fun, then you may just be one of the guys that I'm training to defend myself against. Not going to digress into that much more. We'll jump straight into this. This is my everyday carry pack and the foundation behind everything that goes into my actual bug out bag. In my bug out bag, there's redundancies. If I were going through it, you'd see repeats of some of the items I have here, plus extras. This is literally a bare bones stripped down as low as I'm comfortable with survival kit, and to top it all off, it's incredibly economical. I'm not necessarily promoting a particular brand here, more along the lines of just items that are of decent quality that function well for me for my kit. I want to start off with the pack. Some people use a haversack, some waist packs or fanny packs, small day packs. For me, and this is not perfect, I'll probably go with a little bit larger pack, and I'll explain toward the end of this video why. But this is just a small shoulder bag, one of the tactical style shoulder bags. This one's cheap. It comes from a company called Red Rock Outdoors. I've been using it for camping, fishing, hunting, things like that for several years now. It's held up pretty good, and I would like to add that everything that I put in my everyday pack, this is also my hunting pack, or fishing. It gives me a few extras that a lot of people don't think about that you might need when in the woods or in the great outdoors, but it's also my everyday, so it works good for urban environments as well. Little pack's pretty small. It's maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches wide, not counting the little side pouches, 8 or 10 inches tall, and I can attest to the fact that it's only about 5, maybe 6 inches thick. With everything fully loaded, not counting firearm and ammo, it only weighs 5 pounds. Now I'll get the firearm and ammo in a minute, but that's just what I'm using at the moment. This Red Rock Outdoors shoulder bag, and again, I'm not promoting the brand. The style is working fine for me at the moment. Like I said, I probably will go something slightly larger a little ways down the road, but right now this serves a purpose. Within that pack, if you're familiar with the 10 C's of survival mentality, then this will look familiar to you. If you're not, I'm not getting directly into the 10 C's or even the first 5, which I feel is more important. We can do that at a later date. This is just strictly showing a few people what I carry on a daily basis. Now, one more thing before I actually start going through this is in addition to anything I may have in my pockets or on my person, not in the pack. That would include a decent pocket knife. I've got several different. It's just kind of like a lady in her shoes. I just kind of pick up whatever feels right for the day. I also keep a small ferrocerium rod, a small Altoids tin with some char cloth and a handful of cedar bark for tinder, an extra magazine for my daily carry sidearm, and in my wallet is a flexible plastic magnifying glass. When you add that to what I'm about to show you, I feel comfortable in pretty much any environment in the United States, at least to get out of Dodge and get to my primary gear. I'm going to start off with a cutting tool or a knife. I've got this little Mora Companion, and like I said, I'm not really going to promote a particular brand for the most part, but this one I am. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, if you do not own one of these knives, you're missing out on one of the biggest deals in any survival or shit hits the fan or bushcraft tool you could ever own. This is 1095 high carbon steel. The reason I choose high carbon, especially at 1095, is because if worst case comes to worst, I can take a piece of flint or chert or hard rock, and I can use the spine of this knife for a striker, and I can get sparks from this knife. Stainless steel will not do that. Mora makes these knives in both stainless and 1095 high carbon, and you can buy either for well under 20 bucks. They're really comfortable, they're fairly durable. Will it do everything I need out of a survival knife? No, but it will get me by, especially till I can get to my main pack or dig or scrounge up a heavier duty knife, which will be more of a all-purpose knife. Now with that in mind, when shit goes down, yes, this pack's on my shoulder, and even if I can't get out my bug out bag, I am going to have a belt knife that's a bit more sturdy than this, but this knife does work adequately for pretty much everything other than batoning wood, and you can do small softwood, small diameter stuff with it. I would not want to go very heavy because it's probably going to break down inside the handle or at the handle because it's not a full tang knife. If my life absolutely depended on it, I'd still give it a whirl though, because I've got a pocket knife and nothing else. So that's the foundation of my kit right there. Now, as far as cutting tools goes, I do also carry a carving knife. This is for woodcraft primarily. Anybody that studies or follows Bushcraft or American Woods Lore, Fieldcraft, whatever you want to call it, knows how important it is to have the tools to be able to create things on the go. And this little knife here works pretty well. This is the old-timer splinter carving tool, and it's only got one actual knife blade on it. This is 1085 high carbon. We've got a chip carving blade, and it's got several different gouges and chisels in different shapes. Works real well for cutting out concave objects, spoons. Even gets you started real well with bowls, cups, kuskas, whatever you like. There's much better ones on the market. This one's affordable, $22, $23, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it gets the job done. Is it something I would want to rely my life on? No, definitely not. Not a one-tool option, but it does work adequately for what I need it for and doesn't take up that much weight. In addition to that, this is really cheap and not necessary. This is a cheap Ozark Trail camp knife. The only reason I pack it in here is because it's got a handy fork and spoon on it. Is this really necessary? No. I would say this is more of an extra, a frill or a fluff. Definitely not necessary. And if I had to throw something away, this would definitely be one of them. Not that it's junk by no means. It's just not necessary. I include it in my pack, like I said, because this does go every day with me, and I do use it frequently. Shit doesn't have to hit the fan for me to use my gear. I want to learn how it works. I want to be comfortable with the muscle memory required to use certain gear. I want to be comfortable with the capabilities, or in some cases, fallbacks of any of my gear. I do like using it because it makes eating a little easier, but again, not necessary. And I keep a sharpening stone for my knives in my everyday pack. This will work with pretty much any knife. This particular one is made by Smith's. It's not the best in the world, but it's not bad. It's pretty common man as far as price goes. Can't remember exactly, but I can guarantee you if it's in this kit that you're seeing here, it was not very expensive. Anybody could afford it. It stores in its own handle. It's got a coarse side and a fine side. Works really well for maintaining edges in the field. I use it on everything from a pocket knife to fish fillet knives or bait knives when I'm fishing, whatever. It works really well. Not very expensive, not very heavy. Moving on to combustion device. I keep a nice ferrocerium rod. I'm sure there's better out there. This one works really well. It's kind of a medium hardness. Ferro rods come in light, medium, and hard, and sometimes it's hard to figure out which ones are which. Good companies like firesteel.com will tell you. This one was handmade by a friend of mine in Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure the steel itself comes from firesteel.com, and like I said, it's a medium. Pretty decent size, throws a lot of sparks. I do not keep a striker with it because any of my knives have a 90-degree spine or a sharp edge. Without using the blades, I can throw sparks. Also, from an urban standpoint, and even a lot of times in the woodland, you'll find, sadly enough, busted beer bottles and glass everywhere. These will throw incredible sparks from a piece of glass, as some people found out last weekend that was at my class. But that, combined with this little tin, in the tin, I keep a handful of char cloth, a big lighter. There is no right or wrong way to start a fire, guys. My number one method, if I've got a fire to build, I'm going to use that lighter. It ain't cheating. Screw cheating. The whole object is getting fire for my food, for my water, for my heat, for light, maybe everywhere. If it runs out, I've still got a way of making sparks. So I'm going to hold on to it until there's no flint left in it. Ferro rod is simply a backup. Keep duct tape. There's, I think, 15 foot of duct tape wrapped around the lighter. Duct tape's good for tons of different things. One that a lot of people overlook is the simple fact that it makes an incredible fire starter or fire tender. Not just the fibers that are in the duct tape, but the adhesives itself will burn, and it will burn really well. Combined with the tin that I can always make more charred material out of, good to go there. Little compass here is really cheap. I would not want to go long distances with it, but it will help me get a bearing combined with my knowledge of the outdoors on north, south, east, or west. It's got a thermometer on it, so it works halfway decent. It also has, if I can get it to pop out here, y'all bear with me, I'm dealing with a jacked up arm. But it does have a magnifying glass on it. If I can get the dang thing to come out. There we go. Not very well. Not great magnifying glass. It helps. But I have used it to start solar ignition before. If it'll do that, I'm good with it. Little emergency whistle. I doubt I'll ever use that, but it's there if I was to need it. Again, these are cheap, and they're not precise, but it helps out, and it takes up very little space, very little weight. In addition to that, I carry a Write in Rain notebook. There's a few other brands other than Write in Rain out there, but the bottom line is they're incredibly good quality waterproof paper. This is not a Write in Rain pen. I got to get me another one. Any pen will write on the Write in Rain notebooks, and as long as the paper is dry when you write on it, it will not smear or ruin when it gets wet. If you combine that with a Write in the Rain pencil or pen, it will work even if it's all soaking wet. So that is an addition I've got to add to mine because my last one ran out of ink. Moving along the top of the footstool here, I keep a small thing of 100% DEET Repel. Some people can't use DEET this strong. Again, this is definitely not necessary, but it seems like I'm a mosquito magnet when the mosquitoes come out, so I keep that in there just to make life a little more comfortable. It doesn't take up much space. Here I've got 50 foot of 550 cord, otherwise known as paracord. This is all one piece. If I had to, I could cut it into smaller pieces. I personally feel like there's better cordage than 550 for a long-term bug-out bag, but from everyday carry pack, 550 works just fine. I can do pretty much, the uses are innumerable for that. I've got a cheap 150 lumen, headlamp. Don't skimp when it comes to a light. Don't buy the cheapest thing you can get. This one does have a waterproof seal in the battery compartment, and it's not waterproof, but it is moisture proof. Difference being, if I submerge this in water, it would probably be shot and never work again. But it handles rain and moisture environments pretty well. I've got several of these. We have them in all of our packs. I do have a few better ones than this. They will fail eventually, but we use them extensively camping because they're cheap and inexpensive, and I've never really had a major problem with them. Just like, I don't care if you spend $60 on a headlamp or more, it could fail you. These work. There's definitely better out there, but they work nonetheless. I do keep a couple packs of the Hot Hands chemical hand warmers in my pack year-round. A lot of people look at me crazy because I keep things to get warm with and my gear, even in the summer. I promise you, you get soaking wet, even in the middle of July or August, and end up with limited to no shelter and an overnight period. Wind picks up a little. You could need something to help keep from being hypothermic. At the very least, you could need a little extra edge to help you sleep more comfortably or be more comfortable for the night. The more comfortable you can be, the better your mindset's going to be, I promise. Beside it, I've got this little roll here. This is simply 2 heavy gauge, heavy duty contractor garbage bags, rolled down really tight and wrapped with yet another piece of paracord. Not sure how much is in this. I'm thinking about 12 or 14 foot. No real purpose behind it other than it's just a little extra cordage, and it worked well to keep that tied tight with. In front I've got a cheap metal cup, water bottles, containers with a lid. They would definitely work better. I'm trying to keep this kit cheap, trying to keep it light, and it functions. I can drink out of it. I can dip water up out of a mud puddle, strain it through my schmog or my t-shirt, whatever, and drink it if need be. I can boil in it. These are super cheap. This one I think I found at Goodwill for maybe 50 cents, but they do work and they're light. Inside it I keep a couple of things. Cotton bandana. No real reason for the color. If you're trying to be seen, red or bright orange, bright colors can help. That's just what I had handy. It can be used for tons of things, from anything from bandages to filtering water to making more charred material out of. I keep a small nylon drawstring bag in there just because I try and keep that possum mentality of gathering elements as I go. I'm not going to waste a lot of time doing it, but if shit's bad enough that I have to go down to my everyday carry bag to get home or get back to my gear, then as I'm going along, I'm looking for other things that I may need tomorrow. I don't care if it's fire tender or what it is. Whatever I find within reason, I'm gonna stuff in that bag. Keep a shemagh in there. This one's actually still tied up into a makeshift sling that I needed here a while back in my home because I had a pretty severe injury to some of the ligaments and tendons in my forearm, and it came in handy just because it was right there, easy to grab. It can help keep wind off of me if it's cold out. It can help keep the sun off of me if it's hot out. It can be used to filter water. They're pretty thin. I could make char if I had to out of it, but it's pretty thin. But it's too light and compact not to carry. Last thing I keep in my EDC pack is over here on the side, and this is not really for defense. But I've got my sidearm on me everywhere I go. This is just a 22 pistol. This is an old Ruger Standard, same thing as a Mark I. I'm not promoting the brand or the model. I just like the gun because I like to shoot it. It is 22 long rifle. I'll keep this, 2 loaded magazines, as well as one thing you don't see here, which is 100 rounds of 22 long rifle hollow points in my pack. If I really had to resort to using that for defense, hey, it is what it is. I ain't found anybody yet that wants to stand in front of even a 22 bullet. But it's primarily there to help me aid in food collection. Not as good as a rifle, but the rifle won't fit in my little shoulder pack. With this, I can, within reason, shoot small game. If I had to build snares out of some of my cordage, and I come across a critter that's not dead yet, I can dispatch him with the little 22, no problem. And like I said, if I had to use it for defense, I'm not above it. I don't want to stand in front of a 22. Nobody really would that I can think of. This weird thing back here is simply a squirrel call. Mainly because I really like squirrels. Squirrels are everywhere, even in urban environments. And if I had to hunker down for the night, late evening, early morning, I'm starving to death, I could use that little 2-ounce squirrel call to help draw in at least a better chance for some small game where I can put some meat on my belly. That's basically it. Like I said, this kit complements my bug out bag. Everything you see here, there'll be this plus more in my bug out bag. But if I really had to, if I had to take off and get the hell out of wherever I'm at with just this, working my way toward scavenging for more gear and supplies, or getting back to my home, my truck, whatever the case may be, to get my bug out bag where I feel more comfortable for several days at a time, then this kit's what I need. The little bag, even though the small one I've got here, leaves me room for a few snacks, energy bars, things like that. and I could clip stainless water bottle or attach a military canteen to the side of it if I wanted to carry water. For the most part, it is what it is. There's never a water bottle very far from reach in my everyday life. If shit goes down, I'll probably grab me a water bottle, I'll throw this over my shoulder and go. I could add a water filter like a Life Straw or Sawyer Mini to this. It wouldn't add but an ounce or two, and I may do that later. I opted not to on this small kit so I could save room for a handful of snacks, some beef jerky, like I said, energy bars, something like that. That's basically it though, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. You can look me up personally. If you're not on my Facebook survival page called Tennessee Survivalist, please look it up and join. As always, subscribe to my videos. Give me any feedback or input you might have. I don't claim to be a professional. I just like to show people what I've found works well for me. If you know me through my group, then you know who I am and how to contact me. If you live in Tennessee and you like to learn more skills like this hands-on, not just by watching videos, hit me up on Facebook and I'll give you some info on the group I belong to and who we are, what we do, things like that. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, click that subscribe button. Until next time.
Back, we can get